So when you think creating a culture in a gym, what are some of the memories you have that stick out to you that you would want to implement into a gym you start?
Well, you got to start really small, like ground level. But I think that when I first started some serious gyms, obviously you had like power hour when everyone was in there, but they would do little things like a local powerlifting meet, and I say powerlifting meet. This is, you brought the sanctioned people in, but you also had the people from that local gym that just wanted to, they wanted to either come watch and see what a strong motherfucker looked like, or they wanted to throw their hat in on the team division, or just wanted to try their bench press luck, see what they could bench press. And like I said, in my idea of starting a gym, I wanna build the culture around the kids first, and I wanna really push the culture of the kids. But at the same time, I want everyone to buy in, because when you see that every gym needs the big guy, that's who everyone kind of looks up to, and like make sure their form's right, maybe ask them for a spot from time to time. But I think that the adversity that heavyweights gives you and everyone else, you can apply to life. And I think the problem with the gym culture that we see today is the kids that we're seeing in the gym, and I heard Mark Lobonner say this. We should get him on here sometime. But most of the kids that are going to the nice gyms today, they never had to face any adversity. And so they're coming in there in their pretty Air Force Ones with their over the ear beats. And, it's a big production. They're young LA'd out. And so, mama's funding the bill. They cry long enough, they'll get a new cell phone, and then they got a tripod and stuff like that. And that's the cool, easy bandwagon to jump on. But there was no adversity for these kids, because I think parents overprotect their kids nowadays. They never had to face any adversity. Like the adversity that I had to face in life, I took that with me into the gym, and then I put more weight on the bar and more weight on the bar. And so that allowed me to like take out my aggression. That allowed me to, tap really deep within myself to find out, is this adversity going to get the best of me, or am I really much stronger than that? And I'm going to continue to show up every day, even when I know it's going to be hard. You know what I'm saying? These kids, I say this all the time, but if you go into your gym and any of these kids that are, hell, I mean, you don't really see many people in the gym sweating, drenched from head to toe. And I know that's kind of like, I'm an asshole for saying these things, but ultimately you go to the gym to sweat, to get your heart rate up, to pick up something heavy, challenge yourself. And most of these kids nowadays have not been challenged. So me talking about opening a gym or starting a gym, it would be my job, in my opinion. I would take the responsibility to make sure these kids, I mean, I don't know if I have to turn the fucking heat up in the gym or what, but like, I'm going to make sure these kids learn what clanging and banging is. And if they're asking me for a spot, I do this all the time, where someone will ask me for a spot, and, how on a bench press, you got the first notch, and then you got the second one. And most of us always put it on the second one, but on like that 8th or 9th rep, they're like, and they just want to kind of set it down on that real low. I'm like, no, sir. We're not fucking doing that. And so then they're like, they don't realize what's going on, because that's the easy go-to. They always just rack it, oh, you know what I mean? Did you touch it, bro? Did you touch it, bro? And what I do is I just keep them from being able to rack it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to help them up, but we're not taking the easy route. And so, I know at first that's gonna really make people wonder, do I like this gym? I'm just gonna go to Planet Fitness where it's 69 degrees in there and nobody's nobody's going to make me have to do anything that I don't want to do. You know what I mean? But it's just a totally different mindset. Like, not that what I faced in life is any different or better or worse, but you know, like I welcomed the adversity that heavier weights was gonna do for me when I went into the gym. I feel, I'm not gonna say it because this is my opinion, but I feel as if the kids today run from any adversity. And you're not going to get better that way. But you know, that's part of the culture that I want to build. That's part of the culture that I want to attract, you know, I guess your tribe or whatever it is. But you know, when you sit back and think about opening a gym and what it's going to take to have a successful gym, I think you really have to ask yourself, am I opening this gym to make money, or am I opening this gym to make a difference? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you know, ultimately you got to run all your numbers and see what that looks like as far as if any of this makes sense. But you know, if your overhead's low, you're not spending astronomical amounts of money on equipment and having it nice and fancy, then I think you can push more of a culture of the hard-nosed, really want to lift some heavy weights, you know, make people strong. Hell, I mean, a strongman gym, you know, whatever, I don't know. But that's just my kind of idea, my idea of something that I would like to start. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think my first serious gym was when I was 19. It was an old powerhouse in DeWitt, Michigan. And this owner, Troy Smith, he had already won bodybuilding shows all over the Midwest. Just a dense little middleweight, crazy dude. But he was the type of owner that he'd be walking past, and the guy like always moved with a purpose. Like he had one speed, and it was like, I got to get from A to B and I got to get there now. And full of energy, like cool dude. But he'd be walking past you doing leg extensions, and he'd just veer off and come put you through the hardest set you would ever been through, and then just tap you on the shoulder and keep walking. Like, that was the type of gym owner he was. And he'd do that all throughout the day. Like, one time I walked in, he's like, "What are you training today?" And I was like, "Legs." Put me through like a 25-minute workout. I puked at the end, like just boom, boom, boom. And I was 19. So, you know, I hadn't been exposed to hard training like that. So that's the type of gym owner I think of, like the type of energy, you know, someone like you could bring, or someone like I would want to bring if I'm putting my name behind this gym and I want to create a culture and an environment where, like you said, you face adversity and you go there to get better. I saw a statistic somewhere the other day about a certain amount of, there's more depressed teens now than there was 10 years ago. I don't remember the numbers or the metrics of it, but there's like a larger percentage of teens that are identifying as depressed and not happy or not this or not that. And they linked a big part of it to social media and comparing themselves to others. And I think it's easy to always point the finger like, well, it's social media's fault. We didn't have these problems when we were kids. And then our parents can also say, well, we definitely didn't have these problems before the internet. You can always like backtrack and say that these problems are the fault of something current. But I like to look at it like, well, social media is here, and whether we like it or not, it's not going anywhere. It's only going forward. Through social media, I've been able to create a living, you too. So there is a lot of good stuff that comes from social media. I mean, social media platforms allow us to put out these podcasts and provide value for people. So I like to look deeper into it. I think it's, when I look at my case and I look at somebody like, sounds like you had the same thing, like being 17, 18, 19, and then into my early 20s and mid 20s and just onward. Anytime life ever got hard for me, my first thought was, I need to go to the gym.
Oh yeah.
I quit my career and have no idea how I'm making money. I'm going to go train, but because at least I can do that, and then I'll figure the other shit out.
Man.
I remember a breakup when I was 18, went straight to the gym after I got off the phone. Like, it's the gym will always be there for you. Your ability to push your body past limitations will always be available to you in some capacity. I mean, think about dudes that get big in prison. All they do is just push their body because there's nothing else to do.
Yep.
So I think, and all the successful gym owners I've talked to, they've all said, you got to be passionate about it. You got to want to make it work. Definitely, if you're looking to make millions, it's not the industry. Even if you're looking to make six figures, it might not be the industry, but you can create something that is much bigger than yourself, which I think is the reward. And it can impact and change a lot of lives because, you know, I just told a story about a guy from 13 years ago who I haven't talked to in over a decade or seen. And that, you know, I remember him walking past me on a leg extension and just beating the hell out of me and then walking away. So you can have those type of impacts, and it's all in the culture you create. So I don't think it's that kids are, you know, social media is necessarily like the absolute that's making kids more depressed. Sure, it contributes, but there's just no desire to push yourself past preconceived limitations. Like, you know, like you were saying about the bench press, man, I remember failing on the bench press in that same gym, and some big dude just came by and one arm rode, you know, 225 off my chest and racked it and was like, next time ask for a spot, dumbass. And I was like, you know, 18 or 19. So I was like embarrassed that I just got pinned. But the gym is a place of like, if you don't have any friends and you kind of feel like an outcast, you can go into the gym, and if you like to be there, you'll find people that you vibe with because they're all there for the same thing. And I think Planet Fitness is a good thing because Planet Fitness is designed to almost like accept all the people who think going to the gym is weird and taboo and like they don't want to push themselves. So they created a business model where if you don't want to do that, come here. We won't charge you a ton of money. We'll give you air conditioning. We'll feed you snacks. We don't want you to get better. We just want you to come here. And I think that's great because if you are someone who wants that, then you wouldn't fit in a gym I own or you own. And that's great. There's something for everyone. So any Planet Fitness members, they're doing me a favor because they're not ruining the vibe of my gym. But if you want to step up from Planet Fitness and push yourself out of that comfort zone, you can always come to my gym or your gym or a gym that is designed to get better. I mean, think about when you play sports growing up. Why do you practice? You practice to get better so you do better in the games. That's what going to the gym is. You go to the gym to practice. If I suck at deadlifting, but I go work on deadlifting for 6 months, odds are, even if I'm still not a great deadlifter, I'm going to be better at deadlifting, right? Like you can develop skills. Developing skills leads to more confidence, which means you're less depressed. I mean, none of us came out of the womb knowing how to do any of the things we learned how to do in the gym. It was all just like, you know, keep going back, keep going back, keep going back.
Yeah. Everything of what you just said. I wanted to touch on a couple things. One being the Planet Fitness, and then social media. So you know, we talked about it where you when you're deciding to open a gym, you run your numbers, what's going to make sense. Like gyms, and I mean, I feel like I speak for all gyms at this point. Even though there's still some really nice gyms that I love to train at and things like that. But gyms are preying on the fact that you sign up and then never show up again. Like, not saying that, I mean, I believe that. Like, I believe that they want you to sign up, forget you had the membership, just let that $35 reoccur every month. And then if you come, you come. But like, we really don't give a shit, you know, like, ultimately, if you don't come, that's less wear and tear on each one of these pieces of equipment that if the stuff's not being torn up, I don't have to spend more money each year on maintenance and things like that. I don't. I think it's the small hometown gyms like you and I are talking about that are like, the owner meets you at the front door and he's like, hey, are you ready to get fucking big today? You know what I mean? Something like that, where it's like, it's all yours. There's nobody here. Go fucking tear it up. Put on whatever music you want, you know? But I don't believe that. I believe that now it's seen as a money making avenue versus we're opening this place. You know, now you got Mental Health Awareness Month and all this bullshit, but it's like this shit would not be here if people went to the gym every day. And I know, like, me and my significant other, we argue like fucking cats and dogs because I prioritize the gym. The gym's always an afterthought for her. Like, well, I'm gonna have to do this, or I'm gonna have to, and like, it's good that we're both not obsessed with the gym, because then that would become a conflict of interest. I'm sure you've been in that situation too before. So, you know, I prioritize food, I prioritize training, and it has a lot to do with my job too. But she's got jobs and other priorities that come first for her. But I don't think the whole depression thing that you were talking about, I believe that I wouldn't say I'm blaming it on social media, but in my opinion, social media is like a hit of weed, cocaine. I don't know what drugs people do, you know, fuck. But her and I were talking yesterday, and she said that there's some statistic that says society, humans, whatever, look at their phone every 12 minutes. So you think about that. Think about it when you're in the gym. Think about it when you're at work. And so if you're looking at your phone every 12 minutes, and now I want you to consider this about the kids that you see in the gym that are always playing on their phone. You play on your phone every 12 minutes, and then after that, whatever's done, it takes you 25 minutes to then refocus to get back to where you left off. I guess that's 35 minutes ago, 37 minutes ago. I don't really know how that works exactly with all the numbers. She was explaining it to me, but you think about that. I mean, you'll sit there and watch a kid on the pec deck hit a set, and then he just stops, pulls his phone out, and it's like, it's a solid 12 minutes before he does another set, right? And so I think that for someone like you and I, the gym is our high for the day. So from the second that I get off, and I say get off work, or eat my pre-workout meal, and it's like, okay, this is power hour for Turner. I'm making my intro, making my post, I'm getting my gym bag at the door, putting on my shoes. Like, this is the buildup. Like, I'm rolling this blunt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
got some good sticky. I'm about to go roll a blunt. And then when I hit the gym, dude, or even when I get in my car, I hit the music just right and I'm en route. Like, I don't give a fuck if someone pulls out in front of me, I'm dodging you. Like, I'm not stopping, nothing. Like, I'm in the zone. That's our high for the day. That's our whole, like, that's most people's like go to the bar feel. And so the second I'm strapped up and I'm loose and all that, it's like, this is my high. You know what I mean? Like, I want this 1 hour high to last. I want to make it the best high ever. I'm chasing this, you know? And so I think that social media has become a high at our fingertips. And so you can jump on, scroll, turn it off. You get a phone call, jump back on. Hell, nowadays you can take a phone call and scroll at the same fucking time. You know what I mean? So I think that it's how you prioritize, your fix. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's probably comical that I'm making all these connections through drugs, but that's kind of what I feel. I feel like these kids, they don't, or most people, their high is not, I'm going to go get under some heavy weights, beat a PR, chase a better look for the show or my off season or things like that, because they're hitting it, they're doing a weight. And even if they fall short, they can hop on Instagram, scroll, make a post, get some laughs, and then it's like there's never that solid focus. So in a nutshell, I'm not going to blame it on social media, because somebody's making money off social media, just like you and I are. And probably a lot of the people that are, if they're smart on here watching us, they're probably trying to monetize their self on social media too. You know, I think that's there's hard parts of coaching. Excuse me. Coaching itself's not hard. You know, pulling rice out of a diet, adding fats and adding cardio, that's not hard. But it's getting the people to buy out of or sell out of other things and buy into what you're putting in front of them. And I think that when you're building a culture, you have to get them to buy into the focus that you're trying to sell them. And that's hard. That's the hardest part of building a culture, you know, running a business or any of these things, you know, especially being a coach. Like I tell people all the time, I commented on this girl's story the other day, and she's like, I'm officially NASM NASM certified. I can't wait to start helping people. And I just said, listen, she doesn't know me. I mean, she follows me, but we've never met or anything like that. I said, training and coaching is not hard. Do not overcomplicate this. It's output versus input being food. But you got to push people really hard. And when they want to quit, you have to keep pushing them along, and you got to learn when to push and when to pull. But this whole coaching thing is not hard. And even competing is not fucking hard. You just keep showing up every day. You know what I mean? You just got to get people to buy into that process.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that social media has allowed, you know, you getting someone to one track mind buy into your process. That's where social media is like always throwing a curveball that these people are trying to like maybe dodge from time to time. But every now and then they hit a curveball and they're like, well, this coach says do this. Well, this does this. And it's just like you're constantly having to fight off, you know, it's like a video game. At my best way of putting it.
No, I was just thinking about that the other day. On 2 points you made, like coaching is all psychology. I mean, usually when I post up a transformation of a client, I don't even have anything to share about what we did or what moves we pulled, because they just did everything I fucking said. It wasn't anything revolutionary. Like, yeah, they ate less food than they ate going into the prep or the cut or whatever, and they were doing a lot of cardio maybe, or we got to pull cardio because they were whatever it doesn't matter. The X's and O's, everyone wants to nerd out on that shit like they're gonna find some juicy caveat to how to do it. And it's really psychology. Like, and then the biggest point you said is when I get a new client or you get a new client, or if you're a client listening to this and you sign up with a coach, that's when you need to create tunnel vision. Any coach I've ever worked with, I have wanted to adopt that person's ideologies as my own. Like, you know, I'll use Dusty as an example. Like, I hired Dusty to get huge. Why? Because he was huge. I don't need anybody else's input. I'm working with the biggest motherfucker that would take me at this point. And he's the freak, man. He's the resident freak, 300 plus pounds. That's everything I wanted to be. So why would I listen to anybody else? Or why would I, you know, oh, there's that person's using insulin. What about that? Or a lot of GH over here. Do I go that path? Well, that guy's using Rice Krispie treats. Well, that guy's using muffins and shit. Like, nope, just stay on this path, block everything out. And then if you're really serious about putting on muscle and you want to get into bodybuilding and push competing further, you let your coach tell you what to do. You be a robot and do everything they say, and then put all of your energy and mental capacity into how do I make enough money to keep building my income year to year to year? Because as I do get bigger and as I get deeper into this endeavor, it's going to cost me more money. And that's one thing I can say about, I started bodybuilding in 2014, and almost 10 years later, every single year of my bodybuilding career, I have made more money than the previous year. And I don't think that should ever not be the case for someone, especially young people who are getting into bodybuilding. Like, you want to talk genetics all the time. Like, mental strength is a huge component. How much money you make is a huge component. I mean, you and I have always talked about those two things, especially the money aspect, because I take on a new 20-year-old who's scraping pennies together just to buy the basic foods I tell them. I'm like, hey man, you're going to need $500 the final week of the prep, just at a minimum. So that's another reason to listen to the coach and just block out all the external stuff, because you need to focus on every hour that you're awake and not sleeping needs to be, how do I make more money? Because you're going to need more money all the time. You want to add growth hormone? I'm all for it. You need more money. You want to up the dose and you've reached that point, you need more money. You're getting bigger, you need more food.
Yeah.
You're going to need more money. You're going to eat more meat. In this times, you need more money. You're always going to need to be making more money to get better at bodybuilding, and probably any hobby. I don't really, have anything that I'm deeply invested in other than that. But, golf, whatever the case may be, if you want to improve and go deeper into something, you're probably going to need more money to do it. So I don't even know what tangent I got on there, but
like they always say, like when we're talking about these bodybuilding shows, it's still bodybuilding. It's not body sculpting. It's not body getting lean. Same thing. Like, it's bodybuilding. So that mentality, when you buy into bodybuilding, I just think it's second nature to be like, well, I want to get bigger with my muscles. I want my bank account to get bigger. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in my opinion, in my brain, all that shit just goes hand in hand, but I do understand. I know what it's like to be caught up and be so tunnel vision that you can't focus on anything else. Like, people can only compartmentalize so much. But yeah, like you said, when you that first coach, and you talk about building a culture, that first coach that, you said Dusty, and I had one too. Like, they had already established a culture within the people that they trained. It may be in the gym that they were in, or it may just be the fact that they trained so many people. You actually knew of a bunch of different people that they trained. And it's like you said, I was going to get big. So all the guys that this guy trained were big. That's the reason I signed up with this guy. He established and built a name of building freaks. So, okay, I'm going to do that. Well, I mean, it never crossed my mind. I didn't go to the forums, and I know, like, I can't always use myself for an example, but I didn't, it wasn't, once I bought into this plan that this guy told me, I didn't care what anyone else said. I didn't look for what anyone else said. I wasn't listening to what anyone else said. I was so bought into the plan and the process that, like, I had all the answers right there. You know what I mean? The only thing that I didn't have was that I didn't realize I needed more of was just time,
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh, what else can we add to the plan? I mean, I get that shit all the time. Like, you'll take a first timer and you want to put him on testosterone and D-ball, and they're like, well, what? I've been hearing about EQ. What do you think if we just throw some EQ in, or this and that? I'm like, I mean, dude, I just taught you how to fucking inject yourself. Why you want to add EQ into something you don't even know? You don't even know what EQ stands for. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me the difference in testosterone, propionate, cypionate, sustanon, enanthate, but you want to add something else in. And something else we should touch on here. Honestly, I think we stay on this little topics and then we just cut it short, because I mean, we could talk for days, but I think that we'll keep these people's attention longer if we don't talk for too long. But I was talking to my training partner the other day, and he was like, dude, so-and-so just walked up to me and like just boom, hit me with, what am I taking? Like, what has Turner got you running? Yeah, is Turner is he conservative on the drugs? Like, what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. What does it matter? Like, you understand I coach him, you know that progress is there. You understand I coach a lot of people. What does it fucking matter if I'm conservative with the drugs or not? And like, conservative to me and conservative to you is totally different. Like, we can see that within politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it is just, and I guess it's just because like we all kind of talk about it a little more freely now. Hell, I joke about it, but I just think it's very ballsy. Like, there were some big guys in the gym when I first started, my mentality was, I can outwork all these dudes. I don't need steroids. Like, that's exactly what I thought. I don't need that shit. I can get there. You know what I mean? Like, I've always believed in my ability to just work. And then I always had that chip on my shoulder that I was just going to work harder than everyone else. Like, I saw when he came into the gym, okay, I'm gonna say 30 minutes more and hit X amount more sets. That's just the way I looked at it when I was young. But I don't like if I were to go up and ask the big guy in the gym what he was taking or what's a good source, or dude, they would tell me to get fucked. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I don't know you. I don't know if you're a cop, just some shit like that. But I'm just like, I hear kids come up to me all the time and they're like, yeah, man, I just jumped on MK62 477766. What do you think about that? I'm like, dude, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And I really don't. Like, I don't keep up with all the new this and this and this and this. I don't know what that is, but I'm still not going to tell that. I'm not going to tell a kid that I know he's in high school what steroids are good for him and not good for him at his age. Like, I think I started young, and that was at 21. But I mean, fuck, these kids are getting dropped off at the gym by their mom, and they're asking me what steroids. I mean, they're just asking, maybe not just me, but they're asking, they're having these conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just different times. That I do think that has a lot to do with social media, but
That does, yeah. Because I wouldn't have known I mean, even in my early 20s, I wasn't on the forums, so I didn't know where to look for info. And there wasn't podcasts as many as there are now, for sure. And the magazines were pretending it didn't exist, and it was all, muscle tech and this and that. So that's where I was like, fuck, dude, I need food, I need weight gainer.
Yep.
So, but yeah, social media has definitely normalized talking about it, and it just puts those terms in people's heads. Like we've talked about before, flat, peeled, dry, full, all these you don't even know what that means. And like you said, yeah, you don't even, you can say the word trend, but you don't know how to draw it up. You don't know ACE versus enanthate. You don't know how to you don't know about PIP. You don't know about injection frequency, how many days a week. Like, you can talk all this shit about what you want to do, but when it comes to actually doing that and taking those steps to move forward in that life, it's a big difference. But there's so many people that want to have those type of conversations that, my thoughts to this day still are, when I see a big dude and being a bigger dude now, I always want to hey man, talk to me about your training a little bit, or what are you eating? Like, what's your fucking food like? Because I can tell, I know every cycle I've ran. I know I have a good memory. I can remember every year what I was doing, and I can tell you all of it. And I can show you the pictures year by year by year. And there's no point at any time where it was just like, that's the year he blew up. There's been no drastic overnight it's just not in the cards for me, and it's not in the cards for 95% of people. It's just a lot of time shoveling food in your mouth and going to the gym. Like you said, time. Like, I had that conversation with a 22-year-old the other day, or a 21-year-old who, he just started his first bit of test, and he asked me, what kind of results can I expect in the next couple of years? And I'm like, how can I answer that for you? I don't know if you're going to keep going to the gym for 2 more years. I don't know if you're going to eat McDonald's and you'll go out drinking on the weekends and be a part-time gym. I have no idea how to predict 2 years from now. I don't even know you, dude. You live across the country. How can I tell you what to expect when you've been injecting tests for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever? And it's like, that is part of like being young, seeing other young people on social media who maybe did make changes because they're young and they got their first cycle and they did change rapidly. And then thinking that's the norm, like, oh, I'll take a little bit of test and that'll happen to me. And it's like, probably not. You know,
I love when they ask you like that. Let me put you in a situation, or you understand my situation now. Tell me what I can expect in 6 months, right? Like they're basically telling you, okay, Coach Tommy, let's just say I do everything you tell me perfect for 6 months. Where am I going to be, dude? And this is it burns me up, but it's like, you haven't even checked in on fucking time, bro.
right.
So why would I even waste my mental energy to think about if you did do everything I asked perfect, where you would be? And I shoot them straight. I'm like, well, I'm going to be honest. I asked you to check in Saturday before noon, and you tried to hit me Sunday night at 8 p.m. with your check-ins and then give me some bullshit excuse. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it's probably going to take you a long fucking time to see some gains, because I know I gave 70% Monday. Tuesday was just shit, dude. I mean, I could go into detail about it. I'm like, nope, I don't want to fucking hear it. Wednesday, did you start fresh? Well, and it's just like, dude, fuck out of here. I don't say fuck out of here and shit like that, but I'm like, that's where
you do like, I don't care what anyone says. Like when you read something like that, and this is online coaching we're talking, you do mentally, that person gets like a strike. Like I'm closer to writing you off than I wasn't. And then when I see someone, I had a kid his food scale broke and he tried to weigh his food on a body weight scale the other night. So I get on one end of the spectrum, I got that type of dedication. And then on the other end, it's like, hey, I was gone for 3 days and I didn't take my scale with me, or I didn't eat any of my meals. Like for 3 days, you just didn't even try. Like no baggies of chicken, no fucking nothing. You just took 3 days and forgot what you hired me for. So I'm putting a strike in that. Like you're gonna get less of me as a coach because of that. Like you've shown me that you don't respect my time and my ability. I'm gonna meet you in the middle wherever you're at.
Right.
But that, the other case, it's like, dude, man, I fucking get chills reading that, because it's like, you want this, knowing that like missing or eyeballing 2 meals wasn't going to hurt you. But the fact that I pictured him weighing out his food on his body weight scale, like, fuck, that's the type of dedication that it's not that you need that to be successful, but it's the fact that you're willing to go there is what sets people apart.
Absolutely. Not to even get on a different tangent or anything like that, but like there's things that if I'm leaving my house, and it all depends on how long I'm gone for, but if I'm leaving my house, I've got like I'm gone for a week, I'll take this cooler. You know what I mean? And what I do when I take that cooler, I'll take my food scale, a spoon and a fork, salt, a shaker, and usually a condiment that'll go with beef, chicken, whatever. You know what I mean? That like, these are my fucking essentials right here. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'll take like a Tupperware bowl. And the reason I do that is so I can pour rice into it or, eat out of it, whatever. But I mean, some of these motherfuckers just leave their house as if like, well, they're just going to their mom's house down the road and she's got everything already cooked and warmed up and ready and portioned out for me. It's just going to be there. I'm like, God damn, which I've never had that from anybody. And I've never asked for that within a girlfriend or, friends like that. But it just blows my mind how unprepared some people can be and just expect to still make progress. Like I know if I'm supposed to eat 5 meals a day and I get 4, I know, it might not be drastic tomorrow, the difference, but if I only eat 2 meals a day and then I can try to go train tomorrow, like I might, in my opinion, I'm not saying I would skip, but like I know that workout's not going to be what it could be. So do I skip the next day in the gym and try to get 6 meals that day and then go to the gym the next day? Or do I just go try to get the best workout I can? There's you always can what if, who knows, whatever, but it's
You
crazy.
make a good point about time, about how the one thing you always probably just needed more of was time because you were doing everything right. And I think on the flip side of that, a lot of these cases we're talking about is like a lot of people are wasting time because they're not doing everything they could be to get better. So a lot of, you want to have the conversation about drugs, but you're wasting time in the other aspects that matter the most. You're missing meals, which is affecting your training. Maybe you're out drinking or doing social stuff that's taking away from the gym. This goes for lifestyle people too. I know that your goal isn't to bodybuild and to look a certain way, and that's cool. I work with a ton of lifestyle people. So if there's anybody listening to this that's not a competitor, this does apply to you too in some aspect, because there's going to have to be a block of time in your 12-month year that you say, you know what? I'm locking down for the next 12 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna cut alcoholic beverages, or I'm gonna cut eating out. I'm gonna cut something and commit to getting better for this block of time. Because if a competitor needs to lock down at this level to make the gains and progress necessary to be competitive, why does a lifestyle person think that they can do 50% less and somehow still get results that propel them up the mountain to get better? Like, you can't go out on the weekends, be social as fuck and eat everything in front of you and have all the tasty beverages and then expect that you're going to lose body fat and feel better about yourself Monday through Friday. Like, it does not work like that for anyone. And I've worked with enough people to realize that, like, you have to be willing to not waste time and say no and buckle down. That's anybody with a goal. There has to be a willingness to stick it out, to develop discipline, to be uncomfortable. I thrive in moments of discomfort. I know you do too, man. Without it, I get worse. So we talk about, adversity. Like, you should seek adversity if you truly want to get better in life.
Well, you touched on discipline, and I think I've had this conversation a couple times this week too. I think that most women, and I'm not just singling women out, but I think most women, and I think a lot of society, make their decisions off of emotion. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I've always kind of done this, but I think bodybuilding amplified it. I make decisions off of discipline, right? So I don't have to wonder what time I'm going to the gym. I don't have to wonder what I'm going to eat next. I don't have to wonder what groceries I need to buy at the grocery store. I don't have to wonder what exercises I'm going in the gym to do. I don't, and it's logic and it's discipline. It's never like, prime example. It's been a long day at work. I could just hit a machine workout, get a good pump, get out. You know what I mean? Or it's been a long day at work. I'm going to drink an extra cup of coffee. I'm going to go in here and smash fucking chest. I'm going to start with dumbbell flies, go to incline barbell, and then, whatever. But that emotion is where most people make their decisions. And that's where the variance of the plan goes. And I like to believe that bodybuilding, like I said, amplified my discipline. And then as you get better, when the discipline's there and you're making these decisions off logic, you don't ever really have to guess what's going to happen next or when the progress is going to come. You just know that it's going to come, and you believe in it because you believe in the discipline that you've taught yourself, that you've instilled, that's just what happens, right? Like, and so I don't know how to teach people to react off of discipline or make decisions off of discipline other than emotion. And the reason I say women is because I feel like women are full of emotion. I think we're full of emotion too, but we like to keep our emotions suppressed. And I think that men don't like you or anyone to know they have emotion because in fear of other men or women thinking that we're weak. And that's ego and that's pride. And I get that. But that's what makes up a lot of a man is ego and pride. And so that's why, I think like in corporate or in the corporate world, that's why they put men. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's why I think most of the time corporate America at the top is a lot of men, because men are willing to make decisions not based on hurting someone's feelings. Is this person hungry? And am I going to have to catch some backlash? They're just like, nope, that's it. I don't want to hear about it. Let's keep moving. You know what I mean? And so when I'm making decisions based on, as you become a coach for a long time, you do, I believe you learn to listen to your clients' emotions a little bit more, because you've been able to tap into all these different clients, and you realize that like from time to time, not everyone's just bitchy, right? Like from time to time, they're telling you that hey, like this hurts or I'm starving to death. I don't really care, but you can kind of see what your turnover rate's like as a coach, and are you just suppressing everyone's emotions down and then everyone's leaving you? So, and that is something that I've had to do or consider being a coach, just because like for the first amount of years, it was just suppress everyone's emotions. You're a bitch. You're being a pussy. Shut the fuck up. Keep pushing. It's going to be okay. And like, I do think that when I first started, social media there was a lot less coaches coaching. So I didn't have to worry about my clients running off to another coach that would sell them a win, like we talked about before, versus just listening to what they have to say, letting them explain themselves, and then you taking your words and explaining in long form why this is needed, why we're doing this, how much longer it's going to be, versus just not having any time for it, telling them to shut the fuck up. But I mean, that's a whole nother tangent of a rant of a whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, no,
But really, you said psychology earlier, and then I think that's what I'm talking about.
No. In theory, I think you just have to learn who am I working with, and that's why coaching is not, if you looked at a lot of my clients' plans, they're probably all eating most the same shit. I don't got somebody eating chicken and this person's getting lemon pepper chicken and this person gets only turkey and I got this guy gets beef, and like you're all probably eating the same fucking things. I love jasmine rice, so a lot of my clients get fucking jasmine rice. That's how I'm wired. Like it's a good carb, it's cheap, it's effective. I take into account the economy. People are hurting. Like you can buy a lot of pounds of rice for real cheap. So it's about the individual that I'm dealing with. Is it somebody telling me they're starving, but they've told me they're starving 52 other updates too? Then I don't care. Is it somebody who never has told me anything about hunger that's all of a sudden starting to starve? I might listen to that and be like, yeah, what's up? Why? What's new that's caused this?
Yeah.
So it's just about, I'm the type of person that at how I like to be coached or led or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't need a lot of words. Just literally tell me what to do so I can turn my brain off and go focus on making money and coaching my clients. That's all I need. Yeah. I don't need you to explain the whys. I hired you. Clearly, I trust you. Yep. I don't need you to almost go out of your, I don't need you to say a bunch of shit to keep me as a client. As long as I'm getting results and I feel good about where we're at. I don't shop for a new gym if the gym that I'm at provides me what I need. Same thing with coaching. I don't shop for a new coach if the coach that I'm working with provides me what I need. And that's the way I am with anything. Like I have Verizon because they're reliable. You know what I mean? Like once I find something that works for me, I stick with it and I don't change unless I need to, or I need to level up, or I need whatever. But, you know, I think there's so many different archetypes of what type of person am I dealing with? Am I dealing with someone when I take on a young male, for example, like, is he like me? Is he Tommy at 22 who needs
structure?
Who just needs the structure. Like he's got all the skills. He can take a fucking meal plan. I could write him a letter and put a meal plan in it and he would know how to make it work. Does he just need the guidance? All right, cool. I know how to work with that. Or is this a kid I gotta like really teach like bare basics and doesn't have as many critical thinking skills because maybe his parents pampered him growing up. Maybe he didn't have to make his own food in high school. Maybe he's never done his own, like shit like that. And that's a thing now. When you start working with kids that are like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And I know kids in their late 20s living at home still. So you start to look at stuff like that and like, all right, I still got to get this person a result. I'm trying to grow my business. I don't want to, you know, tell everyone to fuck off and lose all my money every month. So it's all psychology. And that's the way my brain now thinks is like, how do I get this person to buy into the plan I'm sending them? Because there's nothing revolutionary about what you're getting from me. It's not fucking, I don't have any secret protocols or nothing different that I'm doing. Like, yeah, you have to know how to code. I mean, if you don't know how to do that part, man, quit and leave it to the rest of us that do, because you're giving coaches a bad name. But assuming you know how to coach and you have a bank of results that you can show people like, yeah, I've done this, I got these, you know, I've coached people to shows, I've coached life, whatever. You know, a lot of it's psychology, like, you know, telling the lifestyle person that, hey, if you want to make progress, you're probably not going to be able to have multiple margaritas every weekend. Like there's going to have to be a choice. And like, I'll say that to someone who we've never met these people, and you got to come down on them and you got to decide like, now's the moment I have to drop the hammer.
Yeah.
And one of two things is going to happen. They're going to thank you because no one probably has ever spoke to them like that. And that's why they're where they're at in their life at this moment, or they'll quit. One of the two, and your life will go on either way. But if it's the first one where they thank you and like, then they trust you more because not only you're making them better, but you're showing them that like, hey, I'm not afraid to tell you what, you know, you didn't hire a friend, you hired me to get you a result, and I'm going to treat you that way. That's what coaching is. You're not a friend. You're not my bro. Like, I'm not your bro. I don't even fucking know you. Maybe after enough years, you develop a bond like that, and that's cool. But, you know, when I hired Dusty, we weren't boys. We weren't talking on the weekends, and we weren't the way we are now.
Exactly. And the only reason that you and him are where you are now is because you are a good client. If you were a shit ass client, he probably would have told you, hey, dude, listen, this is not working out. You may have still followed him. You may have unfollowed him. But the reason that you guys have had such a great bond, and you know, you guys can talk about anything and all that, is because number one, you were a good client and you respected him.
Yeah.
Respected his time. You respected his knowledge. You respected the amount of time that he had been bought into the game, and you treated him. I say this because it's true, but like you put him up on a pedestal in which like whatever came out of his mouth, I mean, you didn't have to agree with him 100%, but you knew that there were everything that he was going to say had a reason behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, I could do an entire podcast on all the things Dusty has helped me learn that aren't even bodybuilding related. Like this is just life stuff. But one thing I think is obviously it's a popular topic, and kind of to open this one up and to really show people that, look, we're not fucking heartless. Like, I mean, you're a father. I think a lot of people tend to think from the outside looking in that I'm like this callous prick who feels nothing at all. So what are like, is there a time in your life that you can look back on and you actually were admitting to yourself and others, like, I'm depressed? What does that look like for you? Mainly,
I'm,
have you ever admitted to yourself, like, I'm depressed? Like, what does that thought look like to you? Because I don't. I'll let you go first before I touch on it.
well, I'll say this. I'm probably too prideful to admit that, but I can tell you I went through phases where I ran to the gym a lot more. You know, we've talked about two a days and things like that. Like the gym's always been my go-to for it's like my safe place. It's like my favorite place to be. It's like my playground. But when shit was south or sour in my life, I found myself wanting to go to the gym more, you know. So I guess I'm just being prideful, not wanting to admit that I was depressed, but you know, I've definitely been like down on myself. I mean, I'll say this, there was a time where I knew I wasn't going to quit the gym, but I was burnt out. And I don't mean like burnout going to the gym or burnout, you know, competing or anything like that. I was just like, and it was just a phase. Like it was, I can't say that I was or wasn't on gear or anything like that. And I've always been pretty good during my competing and all that. But I just went through a phase where I was just like, fuck, dude. You know, because the way I look at, you know, this is funny. The way that women treat themselves, like they got to wake up, they got to, you know, do an eye mask, they got to get their nails done, they have to put their makeup on, get a shower, do their hair, straighten their hair, you know, wear their clothes a certain way, have 6 or 7 outfits that they go through before they actually leave the fucking house. Then they put their lip gloss on right before they get out of the car, make sure they got their purse and blah, blah, blah. That's how I feel. In the off season, I don't feel like that because all this shit is just reoccurring. But like, and that's why I've never enjoyed prep as much, is because like, I just feel like I got to do all those things. And it's not as fun to me when I have to do all those things. And you ask anybody in my life, like I'm a minimalist. Don't get me wrong. I've got some cool things and stuff like that that I really enjoy. But like, dude, I'm shorts and a t-shirt every day, unless I have to go do something else. You know what I mean? And dude, this shirt right here is probably 6-7 years old. Like that's just who I am. So in my mind, it's I feel high maintenance when I'm in prep. And I think that's what it was. It was just like, you know, and it wasn't like I never looked at my friends going to the river or the lake on the weekend and said, man, I wish I was on that boat. Man, I wish I was doing this instead of going to the gym. But I don't know if it was just the time of year. You know, I think that what it was just, I think I competed and then I took a year off. And then I think I decided to take the next year off. And so when you go through a long off season, most people get like this. Most people get burned out in one off season, right? But I took 2 off seasons. And I think I just went through a little phase in the 2 off seasons where I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and again, like I'm the guy that never took vacations, never went and did hang out because I was so like militant with this shit. Like it didn't matter if the sun didn't come up tomorrow, we're still going to the gym, we're still eating chicken, blah, blah, blah. But as far as being depressed, I can't say that I was depressed. Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I will say this. This is another story I've told. Like, I always like to like stack the table against me. And what I mean by that is like back myself up into a corner. That way I have to fight myself out. And it's a piece of shit is what I am, but I just what I did. But like every time, for the most part, every time I was within like 6 weeks out from a prep, I would break up with my girlfriend. I didn't want to hear shit. I didn't want to fucking go to a movie. I didn't want to I didn't want to sleep in late. I didn't want to go to bed early. Like, I just wanted to do this. I want to go to the grocery store. I want to go to work, and I want to go do this. And that was just my way of like pulling out all the speed bumps. You know what I mean? Like, she was great for me. You know what I mean? And then I went through that phase where it was fresh, where I was like, you know, I was just like, it didn't matter. Like, fuck her. And I used that as ammunition going into the gym, eating fucking fish 6 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know why I did that shit, man, but it's just like my brain and the way that my brain thinks when I start stacking the table against me. I've done some really bizarre shit but at the end of the day, it just always made me want to be, that's just some of the shit that I did because I just want to be fucking better. You know what I mean? I'm locked into this. I'm passionate about this. And that was just an edge that I thought if I did that, it would mentally lock me in more. Right. And I don't think it was like she had stayed with me all off season and like we went through this the year before and then the year before too. So like she should have known this was coming too. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like I was mad at her. I just was like, if I could use the few weeks of being mentally fucked up, of not having her, you know, whatever, we're arguing this and that, as more fuel to go to the gym and do crazy shit under the weight and eat less calories and do my cardio. That's what I did, man. I needed that.
Yeah.
So, and you know, then I would go 2 times a day and things like that. But I don't see, I'm not the type that's going to admit to depression because like, I think we all have highs and lows in life. I think some people's lows are lower than some others. And I think some people's highs are higher than others, but it's all about like what your perspective. And so I'm not going to say depression is not a real thing, or some people haven't actually faced depression because, dude, I mean, I've been fired from work. I've had a lot of things. I've got my ass kicked at bodybuilding shows, you know, whatever, things like that. But I just try to use that as fuel versus some people just use that as a way to just drown themselves in the liquor or, you know, like I just always, and I hate to like always say, well, it's the same thing Kobe would do, blah, blah, blah. But in my mind, I'm like, that is what Kobe would have done. You know what I mean? You break up with a girlfriend, what do? That just makes more time for training, practice, get, you know? And those skills were never taught to me. That was just something that I did. But as I got older, you know, you read the Kobe books and the Michael Jordan and this and that. Like when Michael Jordan and Kobe were great, nobody knew about those things until they're done. You know what I'm saying? So or the Ray Lewises, any of those guys, like you don't hear those stories until they're done with the game. And then it's like, oh man, him and I can relate. But when I was going through those, I was just like doing the only thing I knew.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a survival instinct to do what you know. Like I said, like anytime I've ever had, you know, I remember moving to Arizona and like, I was trying to just get some sort of shit job to get some money flowing in while I started, you know, creating for myself, living in a hotel. And it's like, I did a day of, you know, door-to-door sales one day on this job. And I was like, well, can't do that. I can't walk all that fucking time. I can't get my meals in. Fuck that job. I'm not going back.
Right.
That was that one day. So it's like, man, I've been here a couple of weeks. I've already quit 3 jobs and fuck it. There's a 24-hour gym. I'm going to go train. So I went and did a heavy pull session at 4 a.m. And it's like, this is what I'm doing. I'm living in an extended stay, but the first thing I did when I got there is figure out how to set up my bodybuilding camp. Like I got my instant pot. I got, you know, the extended stay comes with, you know, appliances. My life is in boxes next to me in this room on the 3rd floor of this extended stay in Scottsdale. And like, still within that, a lot of people would look in and be like, man, this dude's a loser, 28 years old, living in a fucking hotel, but he's still going to the gym. He's still pumping iron. It's like, yeah, you know, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But even then I wasn't I can't say I was depressed about my situation in life because I was still riding a high of like, dude, I just moved cross country. Like I'm fucking doing it. But when I think depression, like for sure, there are chemical imbalances that people deal with, and I've kind of seen them when I was in the fire and EMS world, like that make people do some crazy shit that they probably wouldn't do if those chemical imbalances weren't there. So I'm not going to say it's not a thing, but I think it's so easy to default and be like, oh, I'm depressed. I'm not really happy. Like happiness. I can't stand happiness because, like you said, it's all ups and downs. Like if I sit here and tell you I'm happy, that means I'm just in a positive state right now. Like I might have just had something good happen, like $10,000 hit my bank account.
Right.
But if $10,000, or if I get like a letter from the IRS that says, hey, you owe us 10 grand, I'm going to be like, damn, Turner, my life fucking sucks. I'm unhappy. It's, something bad. It's a pendulum.
That's
You got to
right.
roll with the highs and the lows, like you said. So I tend to think most depression cases, you're not actually depressed. And so have I ever been depressed? I think in 2018, when I had quit the fire service, which I was really glad about, but also there was like a period of time where, I was still making money. I was living with a buddy. I was kind of I didn't have a lot of internal, like I had drive, but I wasn't doing what I needed to do. I was kind of being a bum. I was kind of lazy. And I think not having purpose and not being like having something that would get me out of bed and, I would stay up late working on. Without having that, I just fell into this, like, I'll get up when I get up. I'll go to the gym when I go to the gym. I'll get my meal. Like I was still doing all that stuff, but it was like, I had nothing else to focus on other than bodybuilding. And I wasn't competing. I was so far away from the stage at that point. I didn't even know if I'd ever get back on it. So at that point, like you said, I was just down, but I don't think I ever, looked to myself in the mirror or internally in my head. I was just like, man, I'm really depressed. So I think words matter, how you talk to yourself, how you choose to identify yourself. Like,
Absolutely,
man, maybe you've just been getting your ass kicked for a period of time. And you gotta believe that it's going to turn around eventually. It can't stay bad forever. Same thing as like when there's a storm, you lose power. You're going to get power back and the storm will end eventually and it'll be sunny next week.
well, what when I spoke about that phase, that week, 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever, like I think what made that worse was who knows? It's a double-edged sword. But what kept me going through it and what kept that feeling there goes back to discipline. And what I was feeling was, when you get to the gym some days and it's like, all right, I'm here, take this pre-workout. All right, I'm gonna take another half a scoop. And then like, it's just like everything was extra heavy for about 4 or 5 days. And then you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like most of the time the weight's light, I'm crushing it, I feel good, I'm having good workouts. And I think, like I said, I had to tell myself, all right, you're going to take 7 days off from the gym. And when I was 20 to 26, like we're taking days off. And that was just me being disciplined. Right. So I think what continued to make that feel worse was I stayed disciplined to where I was going to keep going to the gym. I think all I needed was a mental pullback to take 4 days off from the gym. And now I tell my clients to do stuff like that, like all the time. And they're like, are you serious, man? Like, and then I'll tell them to take 4 days off from the gym because like, I feel like they're going through this little lull, like I'm talking about. And then the next day, like they'll be on like day 1.5 and they're like, dude, I'm jonesing. Like, I want to get back in the gym. I'm like, you just told me you were dreading going to the gym for the last 7 days. Take 4 fucking days off. They're like, well, can I just take 3? Dude, if you keep it up, I'm going to take 5, and then I'm going to tell you take the week off. Not, I'm just like, I just joke around and say shit like that. But, I've always fell back on discipline and I still to this day, that's where everything goes. And it feels like I'm always headbutting people who aren't disciplined. That's what it feels like when you're extra structured and disciplined. But yeah, like I said, I don't think depression is not real. I think it's real. I think there's a split second in your head when you're making those decisions to go buy drugs or keep pressing on, that people are just weak. And it's like you said, you could have been eating shit for the last 2 weeks, and last thing you want to do is continue to be strong another day. Let's just fucking take some drugs. Let's just go have a couple of drinks. And that's, I've said this a couple times too, where it's kind of like when you're prepping yourself. And so for anybody that's still listening, when you're prepping yourself and you're going through those eat shit moments, that's not the time to make quick changes on the fly for the rest of your prep, because those don't. I put this on a video I posted this week. When you make quick instinctive decisions when emotions are high, it's not always going to make the most sense. It makes sense right then because emotionally that's going to make you feel better, because you did something new, you threw a change in there, you added this to the plan or whatever. You're not going to do this today. And I think for a split second that makes you feel better, right? But I think you finish the rest of the day at work, or you go home and sleep on it, you wake up the next day, and at that point you've slept, your mind's probably clear when you woke up. And then you have to live with that decision that you made. And again, I just think emotion gets the best of us a lot of times. I have a bunch of clients that, like I said, when you're within 6 weeks, you're fragile. And they're looking for any emotional out they can get. They're never just thinking discipline, keep pushing on another day. Once you're if you've done a 20-week prep and you're within 6 weeks, you feel like, God, I've been prepping for so long already. Anyway, it's only been 20 weeks. A 20-week off season will fly by, but a 20-week prep, once you get to, 5, 4, 6 weeks out, it's just like, damn, when is this going to be over?
It's like 4 weeks out, it starts to crawl.
It feels like it does, but
time is still moving the same, but
and also I just think that's where I think that. And this is another podcast, which we've talked about before, but that's where their tunnel vision is so small. That's all they can comprehend throughout the day. All right, 2 more hours till I eat. Fuck, man, 1 hour and 50 minutes till I can eat. Fuck, dude, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Like, goddamn, I just want to eat now. But there's a huge picture here, man. Like, you got a kid, you got a job, you got I'm just saying, like, it could be. You could have a kid, you could have a job, you could have a side hustle, you could have another hobby that you work on. That's what I think is great. Like, now, the one thing I will say about this, and my phone's fixing to die, and this is where I think you see a lot of people make these emotional, you've heard this, but you make emotional purchases in prep because it gives you that feel of a high that you can't get from food right now. Like, your diet is like, it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And so they'll buy shoes, they'll buy earphones, they'll buy a watch, they'll buy clothes. And it's just that, it's that instant, yes, I hit the click button, I purchased it, it'll be here in 2 days. But if I hit this button, they'll rush deliver it here tomorrow. Then I can wear them to the gym. And all that is like, those are emotional decisions. And then you get hit with a big fat I'm broke a week out from the gym because you did that all these times where you needed that emotional hit. You needed that quick hit, fix my emotions, when it was never just discipline.
Yeah.
Like, I think when you go into prep, you should be disciplined with your finances. You should be disciplined with, I know I spend $276.42 at the grocery every week. So that shit's not going to change. If anything, I should save more money in prep because coach just keeps pulling food out.
Yeah. grocery store trips don't take longer than 10 minutes at that tail end of prep, dude. It's
Get three things. You're getting fish, fucking lettuce, and water.
fucking mustard.
Yeah. But that's some good stuff we touched on today. Like I said, my phone's fixing to die. I don't want to cut out any.
No, we can we're like hour 15, so that's solid, man. I mean, this is shit you and I talk about just in private. So the fact that we can put it out there and help some people, provide some value, you know, definitely this falls in the line of what the name of this one is, for the love of the game. And at the end of the day, you're not going to know how much you love the game without the discipline. That's what breeds the love, honestly. No one comes into it loving it. You fall in love with it because of the discipline that you earn from it. So like, share, comment, subscribe. Should have said that at the beginning, but say it at the end. Appreciate everybody's comments. Any guests you want us to get, ideas, drop them in the comments below. Till next time, for Turner Riddle, I'm Tommy Stiles. We'll see you guys.
We're out.